Hi everyone, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts. This is a Q&A episode. This is the first episode of 2019, and so this is a Q&A episode, so let's actually get started with it. Let's get started with this, shall we? And so we got Benjamin from Hong Kong. How come Albertosaurus was shown in Prehistoric Park? Is Allosaurus the best known late Jurassic carnivorous dinosaur, and how fast can Ceratosaurus run? So for your first question, how come Albertosaurus was shown in Prehistoric Park? It's perhaps because that with the rocks where Dinosaurus has been found, they probably have because scientists probably have found Tyrannosaur teeth or at least bits of Tyrannosaur bones in the same rocks as Dinosaurus, but they actually just came up. But I think probably with basically that it's being 75 million years ago that Nigel Marvin went back to, they actually decided like, okay, let's actually put in Parasaurolophus, let's put in Troodon, and also let's put in Albertosaurus. And so, but mainly Albertosaurus, like Albertosaurus sarcophagus, that species has been found in Canada and Montana. And Parasaurolophus has been found in Canada and Montana and Wyoming, and Troodon has been found in from Alaska, Canada, Montana, Wyoming, those kinds of places. So they actually decided let's actually put those animals along with Dinosaurus, just because they think okay, there's got to be dinosaurs around the time of Dinosaurus, which is true, but I would actually say is that those types of dinosaurs probably were not around, like Albertosaurus sarcophagus, a certain species of Parasaurolophus, and a species of Troodon. But I think type of Troodonta did live around that time. A Tyrannosaur did live in the same areas as Dinosaurus around Texas, and I think there's a type of duck-billed dinosaurs that were actually found around there. But even though there has been Parasaurolophus, fossils have been found in California and even in New Mexico. But I think these are kind of different species, like a southern form of Parasaurolophus, probably a little bit smaller than the northern variety, but you get my drift. I think they probably just added in Albertosaurus just because it's the same dinosaur that was around in 75 million years ago. And is Allosaurus the best known late Jurassic carnivorous dinosaur? Yes, it is. It is pretty much the most famous Jurassic carnivorous dinosaur. It is the most common Jurassic carnivorous dinosaur, and so it's pretty much that the animal is very common, very, very common. It's probably the most studied carnivorous dinosaur in the Morrison Formation, and so that's probably the reason why it is actually probably the most studied. And how fast can Ceratosaurus run? Well, so basically with Ceratosaurus and Allosaurus is going to run a bit more faster and is a little bit more agile than Ceratosaurus, because Ceratosaurus is a bit more of a primitive dinosaur. I would say that Ceratosaurus can actually go at short bursts of speed, probably with say maybe 15 miles per hour for a top speed. Could get to 20 if it actually had to, but considering that's an ambush predator, I would actually say it's probably going to go for short distance speed because its legs are not designed for long pursuit chase. Even though when dinosaurs roamed America, it was chasing Gyranosaurus for a great amount of distance, which that would have never happened. I would think that it probably could go fast for short distance, but then it would actually have to do a speed walk in order to actually try to catch up. But I would think that being an ambush predator, it's actually going to go. It's basically going to be trying to do grabbing small prey or medium-sized prey in order to actually catch what it needed to catch. And so I think Ceratosaurus can be probably between 15 to 20 miles per hour, probably pretty close to a T-Rex. T-Rex's top speed, but certain T-Rexes can actually go faster than Ceratosaurus. And Brendan from Morris, New York. My question is, why herbivores like Triceratops, Brachiosaurus, and Brontosaurus did not have feathers? How come carnivores like Tyrannosaurus, Dromaeosaurus had feathers? Well, let's start with the herbivores. Why certain herbivores have never been found, have never had feathers? Well, one, Brachiosaurus is a sauropod, and sauropods are going to be too big to have feathers. So I'd say they're pretty much going to be scaly. I think sauropods are pretty much going to be scaly, and so you're not going to find feathers on majority of these. I think the sauropodomorphs like Ankylosaurus, Plateosaurus, and Massospondylus might have primitive forms of feathers, probably like little stubby quills on like certain parts of their bodies, but then they just disappeared when the sauropods ultimately came into Rome and basically got too big to have feathers. Triceratops probably did have certain types of feathers, probably just quill-like shafts, even though that like certain skin impressions of Triceratops doesn't show that, and also duck-billed dinosaurs like a Albertosaurus probably didn't show that much of feathers at all. But also with Triceratops and Albertosaurus, where they're kind of found, the rock formation that they're found, the Hell Creek formation, don't preserve feathers very well, and so the feathers would pretty much decompose or rot away by the time the animal is pretty much buried. And so that's why the Hell Creek formation is not very good at preserving feathers. You need a certain type of sediments that can actually preserve feathers very well. And so like Dromaeosaurus and Tyrannosaurus, we know that those dinosaurs did have feathers, is because there is evidence to prove that. Like Dromaeosaurus, like say Velociraptor, we found the scientists have found a little bit of these like dots on the arm, like on the radius or ulna of the Velociraptor, showing that's where the feathers were possibly attached. And so that shows that like Velociraptor did have like these like wing type of feathers, these arm feathers, and probably most Dromaeosaurs did have those, and probably recovered most of the majority of their bodies were covered with feathers. Whereas Tyrannosaurs, we know that D. long, Guanlong, and U. tyrannus did have feathers. But even though the larger Tyrannosaurus, we don't find feathers on them, but even though it's still up for debate whether or not the larger Tyrannosaurus did have feathers, I'd probably say they did. It's just that with the latest paper of the skin augmentation, saying that like Tyrannosaurs lost their feathers when they actually got pretty much too big for them to actually have feathers. The younglings did have feathers probably when they were hatchling, probably towards their teenage years, and then all of a sudden they just lost their feathers. But yeah, once you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, you don't need to support that much augmentation of feathers. And so that's pretty much the reason why that herbivores like Brachiosaurus, Triceratops, and Albertosaurus don't have feathers, is because, like say, with sauropods, too big to have feathers, and Triceratops and Albertosaurus could actually have feathers, but even though in the fossil record for duck-billed dinosaurs, preserving feathers, this is pretty much not going to happen, because I think they probably stayed with the scaly augmentation, like leathery scaly skin. Triceratops would be the same way. There might be a little bit of arm, like bony scutes on Triceratops, concerning like Tyrannosaurus Rex was around. You know, you need to have certain type of protection, like on the back, those sorts of things. But Tyrannosaurus and Dromaeosaurs possibly did have, well, pretty much Dromaeosaurs did have feathers. Some Tyrannosaurs did have feathers, and some Tyrannosaurs didn't. But I'd say that the larger Tyrannosaurs did actually have feathers at some point in time in their life, or otherwise maybe they did have feathers. It's just that we just don't have the evidence to prove that. All right, that's it for now. And the next week would be a special episode. So I'll let you guys know this will be a dinosaur. It'll be the first special episode of 2019, and that will be on a Thursday, and so next week Thursday. And so just to let you guys know, I'll let you guys know what kind of dinosaur it could be. I'm pretty much going to choose a carnivorous dinosaur. I'll probably choose one that is probably from like Asia, Africa, or Europe. I'm probably going to lean towards Europe, so I think European dinosaur would actually work out very well. And you can still send me questions about dinosaurs or any other prehistoric life by emailing me at dinochrist71@gmail.com, or just go to my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you can post your questions on the wall or in the comment section. But remember, keep your questions short to the point. You can also follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. That's my Twitter page. I post pretty cool stuff on there. Also, take care of the people around you. And also, for younger people out there, to make sure listening to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians is the best motivation you can have for good education. It's very important to have a good education. So with a good education, you get a good job in the future. All right, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys next week.